Hey there, true believers. Welcome to the 4th episode of the Entertainment Buddha Tubecast, where we talk about everything and anything related to the small screen because why not? And as our mission statement says, we make you a better geek one post at a time. Because we are the Wolf Pack. Wolves. So speaking of which, the rest of my Wolf Pack, there's Miss Anna Febo.
Hey.
There's also Mr. Nick Hershey.
Oh!
There he is, the Wolf Pack.
Somebody had to.
And last but not least, rounding out, he's not a lone wolf. He's with the wolf pack. It's Keith Mathias.
How's it going?
It's a wolf pack ready for tonight. So, what's the haps? What are we enjoying watching? Let's get a little riff-raff going before we dive into this. Anything good?
Yes.
Yeah.
Watching rather than TV stuff. The Roger Ebert documentary Life Itself is on Netflix, and I cried a little bit because it was fantastic.
Interesting.
Yeah. Dude influenced me as far as my writing is concerned more than almost anybody else out there. And it's been, let's see, what's today? The 2nd. It's been 1 year and 364 days since he died. So...
Did you follow him earlier in your life?
Yeah. For, I want to say almost all of college and grad school, so like 6 years, I was pretty ravenous in like reading his blog and reading every single review that he wrote.
But did you always see eye to eye with him?
No.
As one does.
But the thing is, like, it didn't matter. Because, like, okay, so I disagreed with his views about gaming as art. He refused to even consider that notion. Whereas, you know, I mean, he made his entire living and career talking about a medium that had only recently been given the same status that we're sort of begging that video games get. So I don't know. I didn't agree with him on. There were certain movies that we didn't agree on, but what I did agree on was with him on pretty much all the time was the fact that he gave everything a chance equally.
Oh yeah.
So, and I mean, you can't help but marvel at his like technical skill with writing. Even if you hate what he's writing, you're just like, damn, that's an awesome sentence. So, I don't know.
Well, it's just the scientist in me that respects the objectivity.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Ebert or was it Siskel? One of those two, there was a movie that came out and like one of them either refused to see it or like got up and left after like 5 minutes in. It was one of those two. It was one of the two, like, you know, they were the two big guys in the movie critic world, but I can't remember what movie it was. And it turned out to actually be like a well-known movie.
I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
Howard the Duck. I'm presuming. Anyway, speaking of Howard the Duck, Hirsch, what are you watching?
I've actually been trying to catch up on Arrow on Netflix.
That was a non sequitur, by the way.
Yeah.
My segue to you. Arrow, how far did you make it so far?
I'm on episode 13 or 14 of the first season.
Oh wow, you powered through.
Yeah. It's you know what? It's more entertaining than Gotham.
That's a low bar.
Well, if I'm comparing superhero shows, I like it much better than Gotham.
Well, let me move parallel and ask this question because I've often wondered this. So there are a lot of hour-long shows that go with the, I don't know what it's called, but the non-network TV model where they just do like 13 episodes, but they're an hour long.
Right.
But there are, like Arrow and The Flash, for instance, they are hour-long episodes of which there are going to be 22 episodes.
Right.
Do you feel like this is too much?
Well, I knew it was hour long, but I didn't realize there was that many episodes until I went on Netflix and like scrolled through to see how long the first season was.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. I kind of like it because it gives me more to watch, I guess. It's not just over like in a quick 10 episodes or anything like that. So I think as long as they can keep the story interesting and keep people, tuned in, that, 20 episodes or 22 episodes, whatever it is, might not be too much.
Well, that's the challenge with one of those, is making a story that you can have, something compelling for 22 episodes. Arrow and Flash, they each of their seasons kind of have a season long arc, and then they just pepper smaller little, weekly episodes in there that just kind of resolve itself. I mean, the Flash is lucky enough that they have so many iconic villains that they can use, week to sort of do the villain of the week, but yet still drag along the main thread.
Yeah.
But
well, and the other thing too, like with Flash and Arrow, is they're on CW. They're not on like a major like Fox or NBC network that has other shows that they need to get into the rotation. So I feel like, am I wrong in assuming that Arrow and Flash might be like one of their top ranked shows for that network?
Well,
they got to be the big ones, aren't they?
They still have
like the top two.
Supernatural. And I mean, Supernatural's been on the air for like 10 years already.
Right. But other than those, like what other big shows does CW have that people are like, I gotta tune in for this? So it kind of like, to me, it kind of makes sense that like they're an hour long and they're 20 something episodes or 20 episode seasons.
Well, I mean, they kind of, they know their demographic. I mean, and they have Vampire Diaries and all that other stuff on there. So they're like really in tune with what, like teens really want to see. So they've got all sorts of random stuff on there. And then they just started with iZombie.
Oh, I've heard about that.
I haven't seen it, but I'm hoping it's good. I mean, because I haven't read the comic, so
the pilot wasn't bad.
So yeah,
but I haven't gone back to it yet.
Well, that just started recently, right?
Yeah, I think it's 2 or 3 episodes in.
Yeah.
But that's the thing with Arrow. I'm not caught up at all, and I just look at that long queue list that I have to watch like 40 some odd episodes, and I just
yeah. I mean,
it's like a work week.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of used to, I guess, like maybe 13 to like 16 episodes. And I feel like that's better. I mean, for anyone who watches The Walking Dead, yeah, it's like torture when they end in March and then they come back in October, because it's not like some of these other shows where, yeah, they start in the fall, but then they end like April or May, but then they're back like 4 or 5 months later. But I don't know, sometimes like 22 episodes is just way too much of a commitment. And when there's so much good TV, it's like, how do you decide what to watch and like what gets your time?
True. But like for me, there really isn't too much TV wise that I have to catch up on. And I know Arrow's kind of been on my list, so I've been able to just like binge watch that like crazy.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's the other thing too. There aren't a lot of TV shows that I find that I have to watch as it airs.
Right.
I mean, Walking Dead was one, and Flash is always one that I always make time for, and Gotham, because I, have the
gone this far.
Yeah, I've gone this far.
You're committed.
I have the torturous task of having to sit down and decode, and we're not good. I have a thesis brewing about once the season's over, but that's neither here nor there.
Ripping the show apart, basically.
It just could be better. You know what? I'll come back. Let me asterisk this, because I'll come back to this when we get into our discussion topic a little later. So who else do we have? Who didn't say what they're watching? Speak up. Speak up.
I've actually started watching Community on Hulu.
Yay.
And I have to say, I don't know why I never watched the show when it aired, because it is so funny. And when Dan Harmon becomes like a regular on the show and he pops in his costumes, I'm like, this is so funny but so bizarre, and then with Donald Glover, and then I don't know the other guy's name. Oh my god, I think I do. It's coming to me. Danny Putty, is that his name? They have a, I don't know, they're just like the pop culture guys on the show, but their references to things are so, they're very spot on. Like they make fun of Doctor Who, and it's called Inspector Time Lord or something like that, and yeah, it's
Inspector Space Time.
There we go. It's funny. It's just a really funny show that I wish I would have watched when it was on the air. I'm on the 3rd season, but it's really funny if you haven't seen it.
I'm really surprised.
That's like me in Parks and Rec. I'm just starting to get to that.
That's good. I'm really surprised that Netflix didn't pick up Community like they did with Arrested Development. I thought that was like a for sure Netflix thing, and then it was like, oh, they're going to be on Yahoo. I was like, really?
Yeah.
Like,
how is that working though? Like, is it? Do they release an episode a week?
I don't know. I mean, Community is one show where I was like you. I was like, I need to watch this at some point. I've seen a couple episodes here and there, but I've never sat down and watched.
Yeah.
Beginning to current. So I'm not sure really how it's working with Yahoo. I just know. I think they do it, but they release it by episode, but I don't know if it's weekly or how it is. But because I did see something on Yahoo's homepage the other day, it's like first episode of Community now available or coming soon or something like that.
So, I mean, whenever I get to season 6, I'll do that. But if any of you haven't seen it, I highly recommend watching it. I think you would really enjoy it. Granted, how like in tune we are with pop culture, you'll definitely get a lot of the jokes that they're making. But some of the stuff is just, it's funny. It's really funny stuff.
Do they make a lot of pop culture jokes that are like just really out there, like you, like ones that are just like?
It's almost like a different take on it. Like they had, I think I don't know when the show originally aired, but I know there was one episode where they ate something or drank the punch or something and they became zombies. So it wasn't like, oh, someone like a bloody zombie or anything, turned them. But it was just funny, the whole take on like being a zombie and like how the whole infection spread, and like the whole cure to it was turning on the AC. Like it was so hot in there, but if you turn on the AC and you cool down the place, then like everything came back to normal. And it was just like,
I feel better now.
It's like, what? Like, okay, I can get behind this, but like Joel McHale, he's so funny. And like Allison Brie as like the like really calm, like neurotic one is so funny. But Donald Glover and Danny Putty, like their little characters are just so funny, and they do the weirdest stuff. Like they were lab partners and they had to train a rat to respond to their voices. So they're singing the theme song of Fievel. like to get the rat to respond, and Donald Glover's character did not want to, like, he just was like, why are we doing this? And it's so funny. Yeah.
Well, speaking of exclusive content, there was a news announcement today that Netflix is looking to bring Full House to Netflix in a revival called Fuller House. I think that's the working title. But it would be focusing on the eldest daughter, DJ Tanner, neighbor Kimmy Gibbler, and then all the usual cast and crew from the old show will be guest stars. So, with that information, are you guys in? Yay or nay? Cheers or jeers? Good idea, bad idea?
I think it's a good idea. I mean, I always liked Gibbler. I thought she was always funny on Full House, so it's interesting to just see where they're at in their life and not have to deal with what is it, like corny episodes of life lessons and like, you lied today, but you know, that was really bad and you shouldn't have done that, and okay, hug. Like, I don't know, it'd be cool to see them grown up.
Just admit it, you had a giant crush on Steve.
Oh God, no.
No, but he was Aladdin.
No.
AKA Aladdin and Simba.
I was gonna say Aladdin. No. Uncle Jesse.
The one I always remember is the one where it's like the Power Rangers knockoff and they have to have the toys, but then they're crap. And the kids get really disappointed. And then Uncle Joey gets beat up when he's trying to buy the toy.
Classic.
That's one that always stick. That's the one I always remember. What do you think, Hirsch? Yay or nay?
I'm gonna say nay.
Nay. Why?
I don't know. It seems kind of desperate. Like,
that's true.
I mean, I know they're trying to revive a hit 90s show, much like Disney did with Boy Meets World with Girl Meets World now, and I mean, I assume that's working out okay for him, but you know, I watched the first episode and that was it. And I really don't see myself watching a Full House, you know, spinoff or continuance, however you want to label it. But I don't know.
No, you and I will probably go in for one episode and then we'll say, nah, not for me.
Or it'll be like, well, we've come this far. Why not watch 12 more, right?
We made it this far. Don't make me have another Gotham. Keith, what do you think? You said grad school, so I assume you're around, you know, our collective age.
Sort of. I've never seen an episode of Full House.
What?
So
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that happened.
How is that possible?
Oh.
Wait, I think I know. Keith, your life is just like Brendan Fraser in Blast from the Past, and you were stuck in a bomb shelter. No,
or Encino Man.
Like you could just say, no, you could say, oh crap, what
Was my dad also Christopher Walken?
what was it called? The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. There you go.
Yeah, I was. No, that would have been funny, but not really. But no, I don't know. I never really watched. Like, that was sort of one 90s show that I never really watched or cared about.
Were there any others you never like? Did you ever see Family Matters?
No, I saw a couple episodes of here and there.
What were you doing? Did you have a life Friday nights? Because Friday night it was all about TGIF and
Friday nights were popping in my house. ABC, TGIF,
Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Yeah. Step by Step.
Perfect Strangers.
Boy Meets World was there for a little while, I think.
Yeah, I did Boy Meets World and Sabrina.
Okay,
and that was about it. And then, you know, all of the cartoons and stuff. But yeah, I don't know if it was live action. I wasn't too terribly into it.
Gotcha.
What about Quantum Leap?
Nope.
Oh boy.
Wow.
Well, I guess on to a more depressing note.
Maybe I was a loser until I was like 15. This is a distinct
No, it sounds like you have a life.
Right, yeah. So, like, what were you doing? I'm curious.
I don't even know, man.
Playing Pogs.
Yeah.
I have Pogs.
And Pokemon cards.
Pokemon.
Okay, I didn't do Pokemon cards. Dungeons and Dragons? I didn't do that.
No, I didn't do D&D until I was like 18.
Okay. I've never done D&D, but I've been tempted to try, but then I'm like, do I really want to go down the rabbit hole?
Oh, you do. You totally do.
Do I?
Yeah. I don't know, like team sports and stuff.
Oh, okay. So you played sports growing up.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was one of those guys.
Were you a jock?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Little league baseball.
Not. Are you kidding? Not even close.
Were you a nice one or a mean one?
Oh yeah, I was the nice one.
Okay, cool. Then you're okay.
I was also the guy who played lacrosse, but also was like, I'm gonna hang out with the goth kids and read poetry for fun.
You're gonna be a nonconformist.
He was one of those ones that he'd stuff you into a locker, but he'd just say sorry.
I have to keep up appearances.
He'd take your lunch, but he'd give you like $1.
Aw, no.
Here's some money for your lunch.
Okay.
Give me that chocolate milk.
I gotta be.
I'm sorry.
Peer pressure is strong today, guys.
Do my homework, but don't feel like you have to get the best grade.
Oh my God, are you kidding?
Am I reading your past life?
No.
I was gonna say, how many more can you come up with? You're on a roll.
Yeah. Yeah, this is about as far off base as we could get.
Tangent. This is not related to the small screen. I apparently
No, Netflix is going to pick up a 13 episode series about Keith.
Yeah, Fuller House.
Okay, cool.
Keith will be the one at the end of the credits where it says "and starring Keith," and then he just kind of does the shrug.
It's going to be called Keith of the Castle.
I would watch that show.
Netflix, no, Yahoo exclusive. Done. Write it up. Patent pending. Nobody steal my idea. Hershey's idea. Our idea. The Wolfpack's idea. Anyway, speaking of the Wolfpack, this is where we're going to go to Spoiler Town. So people like Keith, well, no, Keith can stay. Anybody who hasn't seen the recent Walking Dead, get out. Get out of Alexandria, because we're going to talk about spoilers, because the season finale, the actual finale, not the mid-season finale, none of that gobbledygook, the season finale just happened. So is everybody out? Can we talk about spoilers now? Okay, ready? And shit got real, sort of. Gabriel didn't die.
Unfortunately.
That happened.
Tara woke up, so...
Tara woke up. Contra apologized.
Yeah.
Gabriel didn't lock the gate like a dummy.
Right.
And 3 walkers got in.
Because he feels like after killing 1 walker, he's like, I'm the man. I'm tough. Like, I got this. I can act like I don't care about a damn thing. Mm-mm.
See, but is it that, or is it more like he wanted to sacrifice himself? Because I feel like when he left, he leaves the compound and he says, "Oh, I'm just going on a walk, and I don't need any weapons or anything."
Well, I mean, I think he wanted to die. I think that was the intent, but all of a sudden it was like, I don't want to die. It's like almost like a second wind or something came to him where it was like, no, I don't want to die, and then he kills that 1 walker, and it's like some newfound faith, like he's been reborn into, I'm gonna pretend to be badass Father Gabriel or something. I don't know.
Well, then later he kind of bullies Sasha into trying to get her to shoot him.
Right.
So I think he's still looking for a way out. It's just he doesn't want to, necessarily give up. He kind of wants, somebody
he doesn't want to be eaten alive. He doesn't want to be the one to make the sacrifice. Like, he doesn't want to sacrifice himself, but he wants someone else to do it. Like, how is that even right? How is that even fair? I don't know. He still needs to go. That's all I know.
He needs to go. You're right. Exactly.
He just be gone.
And then, so the big thing is that Deanna gets everyone into a town meeting. Rick's not there because he's dealing with stuff.
Yeah. Because, Father Gabriel didn't lock the gate.
Yeah, way to go, Father Gabriel. And then Rick takes care of one of the walkers and then presents it at this town meeting to say, this is what you gotta deal with.
Yeah. This is real life. Like, this is what's outside these walls. But you all have been so sheltered and so protected and thinking that nothing could ever come inside and cause any harm. And it's not even to say that it's a walker. I mean, look, you had Pete inside causing harm to Jesse, but like that's just an example. Like someone left the gate open and this is what happened. What if it would have been more walkers? Like what would have happened then? How do you even know how to defend yourself? Do you know how to fight? So,
but the whole thing, like, I was disappointed. I mean, overall, you and I were BSing afterwards, and we both said we'd give it like a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, we did.
Matt gave it an 85. So he gave it somewhat higher marks, but
right.
we're all still under the impression that it's not like
no, because
the greatest thing.
I feel like, again, with that many people on the show right now, I mean, they still have. It's Rick in the group, like, so no one's died since Noah. So
right.
There's still everyone there. But then you have all these people, all these other people in Alexandria. It's like there should have at least been a bloodbath. I mean, and it's wrong for me to say that, but it's almost expected in these season finales when you have this many people, like, you just gotta kill people off. Like, that's the nature of the show. And it didn't happen. And it's like...
Well, that was the curveball in that
right.
We had said before that we thought Father Gabriel was going to die. He didn't. We were going to say we thought that Nicholas was going to die. He didn't. Glenn didn't kill him, even though he shot Glenn.
Right.
But
I saw
twist,
that coming. Like...
What, him shooting Glenn?
Yeah, but and that my issue with the finale was that it was so predictable. Like, everything from, okay, Nicholas is watching Glenn. Glenn is going to see him. He's going to go after him. Glenn is going to go after him. Something's going to happen to Glenn. And what happened? Oh, he's climbing the wall. I better go after him. Oh, I'm standing here in the woods. Oh, I got shot. And then with Father Gabriel, it's like when he comes back and Homeboy tells him, hey, lock the gate. And he just like kind of glares at him, throws some shade at him. It's like, he's not going to lock the gate. Like he's not. And what did he just like slams the gate and it's like, okay, I'm walking.
Well, that whole part was dumb because it's like if that guard pays attention for like another 5 seconds, we don't have all this stupid
right
plot point of, oh no, Walker's got in.
But even with
it's just take 5 seconds, stupid.
With Aaron,
your job.
Aaron and Daryl, when they were out and they come out by that food factory or
that food packing plant.
Yeah, like you're seriously thinking that there's a whole bunch of food in these trucks. Like, come on, guys. Like, you don't see the cans on the strings as an indicator or some sort of trap. Like, something's gonna happen. And I called it. I knew that they were full of walkers. They open. I'm like, oh, no surprise. They get in the car and it's like they're talking about making this like one last shot. Like, I'm not going down without a fight. And it's like, that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen.
No, you can't kill Daryl.
Oh my God, the whole world.
It'd be an outrage.
The whole world would be in a tizzy. And then Morgan shows up. And then, of course.
And then Morgan shows up.
Yeah. And then even at the beginning with Morgan and that guy is talking to him, I'm like, okay, Morgan is not going to die. So for me, I just felt like the whole episode was so predictable. And I'm like, oh, like, come on. Like, can just... something happened to prove me wrong, please. Like, Morgan's not going to die. Oh, Morgan died. But he didn't.
Yeah.
So
then from Aaron and Daryl's predicament, we see that trap was set by a new evil group called the Wolves. Mm-hmm. Not to be confused with us, the Wolf Pack, but the Wolves. So now they'll strike probably next season.
Yeah, and I called it on the last Tubecast. I'm like, nothing's gonna happen. They're gonna set you up, and nothing's gonna happen. I called it. I knew it. But anyways,
I don't want another I don't want another group of bad guys. I want this whole Alexandria thing to kind of run its course.
I'm like ready for them to move on. I feel like it's like the farm and the prison again, where it's like, okay, you've had your fun. Go. Like, we know the threat at this point are people. It's not really the walkers. At this point, we know it's people. And from here on out, like, the people that you meet can only get worse.
Yeah, the walkers in the whole show are just kind of like background noise.
Yeah. So.
But from Deanna's meeting, Prickly Pete, because he's a stupid schmuck, accidentally kills Deanna's husband. Mm-hmm. And then, after all that, Deanna tells Rick to do it. And then you said that they confirmed that Rick shoots Pete.
Yeah, on Talking Dead. Yeah. And I remember from the comic, like, in the comic, the leader is Douglas. It's not Deanna. It's a man, but and it's the wife that Pete accidentally kills. And he in the comic, he gives him the okay, like, do it. And that's what I was hoping was gonna happen, because I'm like, come on, like, if that doesn't happen, then, like, what have I been watching this for? Like, Pete has to die, and he did die, and it was confirmed on Talking Dead when they do their in memoriam. Like, his face showed up, and I'm like, yes, no more.
Oh, Pete. That's how they said it? Mm-hmm. That's cheap. See, like, it would have been fun to speculate the whole off season to figure out whether Deanna saying do it meant that she wanted Rick to kill Pete, or that she wanted Rick to shoot her recently deceased husband in the head so that he couldn't become a walker. Yeah. Like, that should have been a thing. I mean, Prickly Pete had to go. Yeah. But it's not like it had to be that particular instance that that it had to happen.
It would have been so good if Carol was the one to kill him too, because...
Well, that's what I wanted. Like, I wanted her to do it.
Like, the way that she just, like, talked to him, like, I could kill you right now and no one would ever know. It would just be self-defense. I mean, everyone already knows how you are. Like,
that was great.
Like, holy shit. And then when she gets her knife and she just, like, holds it up to his chin, and just the height difference, just that shot was perfect. I mean, it was brilliant. And I mean, and Carol has just kind of, like, it just probably become one of the best characters on the show. I mean,
well, it's funny. I saw something that said it was like an article postulating that the greatest decision they ever made was not killing Carol. Because spoiler, if you haven't read the comics, Carol's dead.
Oh,
She's been dead for a while.
Yeah, I mean, comic Carol is like 180 of TV show Carol. Like, she was never, ever as tough as she is on the show. In the comics, she's just so weak and desperate and...
bat poop crazy.
Oh my God, crazy. And on the show, she's a badass. I mean, she's up there with Rick. I mean, and yeah, Rick, you know, has been on the line of sanity and insanity, but I think that the points that Rick makes about what's going on, they're valid points. I mean, it's one of those things where he could kill you at the drop of a dime if he had to. But if he had to save you, even not knowing you, he would do it. And then might question, you know, your intentions with the group, but eventually, you know, you'd become part of the group. And I just feel like when Rick is, like, saying these things, just pay attention, just listen. I think he knows a thing or two about actually surviving out there that some people, I mean, could, you know, they could learn from it, especially the people in Alexandria. I think they're just so, like I said before, so sheltered that they don't know what it is to be out there.
Right. They've never had to put up with it.
Right.
That's like what Nicholas said when he and Glenn were tussling about. Nicholas said, I'm so weak. I've never had to, you know, I've never had to survive.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't know. Nicholas is another one that could go, like, ugh, you're so stupid.
Well, he should have gone, but it was fun. It was nice to see that Glenn doesn't have the mentality that Rick and Carol do, that he can just kill somebody. Like, he can kill a walker fine, but it's not. He hasn't reached that point. He hasn't reached the breaking point where he can just kill a person if you know.
Yeah.
If it reaches that point, which it was a nice character moment.
I'm surprised how little of Maggie we saw post Beth.
Well, even with the whole Gabriel thing, I figured she was going to be a big part of this. She was going to be like the liaison between, you know, having to tell the group that Gabriel is a big snitch and, you know, having to play nice with Deanna because she wants to be on the good team, or she wants to be a part of the group still.
Right. But none of that ever happened. So I was just, I mean, I was kind of surprised at, I guess just all the different, like, the different storylines that were going on. I think we talked about that too, that there was just way too much going on for a season finale. It's just, it was, I mean, and that's probably why they had a 90-minute finale, because of all the storylines that they were doing. But
yeah, but even that 90-minute kind of felt unnecessary. Like, the first 10 minutes were great with Morgan. The middle, you know, whatever, just it was so all over the place. And then the last 10 minutes with Aaron and Daryl escaping and this little powwow with the group at Alexandria, that was good.
Oh yeah.
And then at the end, Morgan shows up and he sees Rick shoot somebody, and, you know, earlier in the episode, Morgan has, you know, come to terms with all of the bad things that have happened to him, and he keeps saying that every life is precious, and then he sees Rick do the antithesis of that.
Yeah, and so it was just a very surprising and interesting finale, in the sense, like, nothing really happened, but all these things were set up for you, and yeah.
Well, that brings up an interesting question. Let me get Keith, Hershey, everybody, get back. Okay, so here's another discussion topic I was thinking of. You know, especially after I saw the Walking Dead finale. So some TV shows, they leave it for the penultimate episode, the episode before the finale, for all the big bangs and all the big surprises and the big things, and then the finale is kind of like the cleanup, where it's just like especially in Dexter, the penultimate episode is where all the action happens, and then the last episode is everything's tied up and it leaves nothing to linger over for the next season. Do you guys enjoy shows that are structured that way, where the last episode is the cleanup, or do you like it more when the last episode is where all of the action happens and then there may be something that lingers over that you're not, you know, completely sure about, or there's something that's a bit of a cliffhanger? Because I think Game of Thrones does that as well. Yeah, where the penultimate one is where kind of everything happens.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like, when I'm watching it, at the time I'm like, okay, they had all the big reveals in the second to last episode and cleaned up the last episode, cool. But like, then I kind of wish there was that cliffhanger, because then it gives you something more to look forward to when the next season starts. It's kind of like a love-hate thing, at least with me anyway.
Yeah. I mean, and I think it also depends on, like, the kind of show that you're watching. I mean, like, I'm trying to think, like, a happy show.
Well,
like,
I mean, to your point, I guess it depends on the timeline of the show. Like, Dexter always had one... Like, the season itself was the arc and nothing carried over. And like Breaking Bad, the season was kind of like an arc, and then the next season picked up like a year later or something. So there was this fractured time thing, that it wasn't this like one continuous story that was just broken up arbitrarily by, you know, 16 episodes or whatever it is. Like Walking Dead is. Walking Dead is like a continuous thread.
I think that it's, like Nick said, it's nice to... like, have that cliffhanger, like, leave me wanting more. Give me a reason to come back. Like, don't just wrap like have a big reveal the second to last episode, kind of wrap things up in the last episode, but then kind of throw a bone at me like, no, I like have me, like, give me a reason to come back. I guess that's maybe why The Walking Dead was like, the finale was just kind of like, meh. Like, I mean, I'm still going to watch the show when it comes back, obviously, but there isn't that like, oh my God. Like, oh, did you see that finale? Like, oh, what do you think is going to happen when the show comes back? There wasn't any of that. It was just, all right, it's over. Okay.
Well, I mean, even the last season when they were all stuck in the train car and Rick says, they mess with the wrong people.
Oh, that was like, that's how you end. Like, that's how you do a season finale.
Right. I mean, that gave you something to come back for, even if it was, as simple as they're just going to go take care of all the people in Terminus. It wasn't like there were tons of things left over. It was just like there's something that's left unresolved. Yeah.
But I also think with as good as season 5 was of The Walking Dead, I feel like they hit their peak a little too soon this season, and the rest of it was just kind of like, meh.
Keith, what do you think?
I guess I'll kind of go along with you guys. I like sort of a happy medium between kind of the saving surprises for the end and having it as a cleanup. Like, I am a huge fan of Game of Thrones, so I love stuff like, what happens with Ned Stark and the Red Wedding and so on and so forth. But I hate when
was the Red Wedding the last episode or the second to last?
No, the Red Wedding was season 3, episode 9.
Yeah,
so
that
it was the second to last.
Or no, wait, they're 10 episodes, right, for Game of Thrones? Yeah, so it was that. The Red Wedding. Oof,
so what if that was the last episode?
Oh.
If that was the last episode, I probably would have been pooping my pants for a year, even more than I already was.
I'm not gonna like. For anyone who hasn't seen it, I feel like that is one episode not like I don't want to spoil it because it's just that good, but I did not sleep. I did not sleep because I just could not believe what I witnessed. Like, it was absolutely horrible.
It's like the most grossly violent 15 minutes of television I've probably ever seen.
And it doesn't, like, you can't even compare it to anything that you've seen on The Walking Dead. Like, those 15 minutes is nothing compared to anything I've ever seen. Not any horror movie, not even any, like, violent scene in a movie. It was just, like, oh my fucking God. Oh my God. Like, those reaction videos? It's exactly like that. Like, why did that just happen?
They've gotten pretty creative on Walking Dead recently.
Yeah. I mean, but that's expected for, like, zombie stuff. But, like, the Red Wedding, like, it just doesn't prepare you for anything. Like, nothing.
No.
When I knew what was coming with the Red Wedding because I had read the books. So I was like, right. Okay, I know what's coming. I know what to expect. And I was still like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that. And I was like, you idiot, you read the books. Like, but like that's how you know they did a good job. Like, it's so good.
I think I went through like the 5 stages of denial. It was like anger, like acceptance, like I cried, like everything. It was just like I was every emotion you could think of that night. And then I come to work, and of course, like everyone's just talking about it, like, oh my God, did you see that? So it was
Yeah. But to sort of dovetail, go again off of that, the season finale of season 3 was kind of really lame.
Oh, yeah.
And that really upset me. It's like, you cannot have, and I guess my point to sort of sum it up is, you want to have all your major reveals, craziness in the penultimate episode? Fine, fantastic. Remember to make your season finale a good episode of television. Like, you can't just have this, like, clean up, like, oh, let's tidy up all the loose ends from the last 13 hours of TV. Like, no, it still has to be a good episode of TV. That's I guess, my point boiled down into a second.
Sure. I mean, that's kind of what happened with Walking Dead. I mean, they saved all the big surprises for the last one, but even the finale was kind of a turd.
Mm-hmm.
But slice of life, I guess.
Yeah.
So we all kind of like that. I guess it all depends on the show. Depends on the show how we like our finales.
Yeah. Sons of Anarchy did a really good job of kind of spacing.
Yes.
Really crazy stuff.
They still kind of dropped a bomb on you for some of those finales.
I feel like every finale of that show was just like, what? Like, did not expect that. Even if you like had it was coming.
Yeah, except the series finale.
Well, yeah,
but that's a different.
No spoilers.
That's a different story.
I still haven't seen it.
You can just stop after season 6. It's okay.
For what?
No.
You've gone this far, Justin.
We've gone this far.
Okay.
Are you still talking about Dexter?
No, Sons of Anarchy.
Oh God, yeah. Oh.
No,
that
Dexter stop after Trinity. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all I need.
Sons of Anarchy.
I like Julia Stiles.
That one was all right.
The series finale for Sons of Anarchy was like the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
It was almost as bad as Dexter.
Oh, it was so bad, and my husband was watching it with me, and he was like, "I'm so glad I did not devote 6 years of my life to this show because that was awful." I'm like,
I just went with the power binge.
Yeah, that's what I did. I just binge watched Sons of Anarchy. I was like, all right, this is cool. And I'm like, well, now that I can actually watch the episodes as they air every week, I'm like, I'll do that. And again, I'm just so glad I did not devote as much time as I did to that because
I did.
Lost.
I watched it weekly.
Did you like the finale?
The series finale?
Yeah.
No, I mean, it was too predictable. Yeah. But as far as like the whole reason I watched that show is because Charlie Hunnam was in a movie that my friends and I liked in college called Green Street Hooligans.
Green Street Hooligans.
Yeah.
So like once I heard that he was on a show on FX, I was like, all right, I'll watch it. And then like from that point on, I watched it every week, like when it aired. So like there was no binge watching for me on that show. But
It all got quiet.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was like, I didn't hear anyone.
We'll just leave that in.
Score 1 for Skype.
And
then when they have like the pee break app, it'll say like at the 48-minute mark, you can go take a pee for like 15 seconds.
It got silent for me when Nick, you were like, it was right after you said that he was in Green Street Hooligans, and then like after that,
our excitement crashed Skype.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, he was in that, and then I heard he was on a show on FX, and then I just started Sons of Anarchy from the beginning and put in all that time.
Like I like the show, but I think like them going to Ireland and like that whole thing for me was just kind of
that was a weird scene.
Ridiculous.
That was really weird. But then with the FBI lady, I don't even know her name, that she gets her nose like punched in her.
Yeah.
Like I thought like that season where it was like heavily focused that the FBI was watching them, I thought that was a really, really good season. And then once Tara kind of started to go like off of the deep end a little bit, where her lines were blurred as far as her, like it was just weird. It was a very up and down show. I don't think it was kind of consistent either. So I'm glad I didn't really commit 6 years.
Yeah, you live and you learn.
Yep.
Yeah, we didn't have another Lost on our hands.
Ooh, I dropped off of that after the second season.
Well,
it's been on my list for years.
Good for you, Anna.
I'm scared.
I refuse to start it.
No.
I watched one episode because my roommate in college liked it, so I watched one episode with him one time, and I was just like, nope. And then I heard how it ended, and I'm like, definitely not ever gonna watch it.
So were
Definitely
they
no.
in purgatory? Like, is that like?
Who knows?
That's that. Well, yeah, who knows?
I
Who
mean,
the hell knows?
I know I watched the series finale because my husband watched the show, and I'm still like, I don't get it. Like, it was like flashbacks, flash forward, and then they're back on the island, and I'm like, did they ever leave the island? Like, are they on the island? Did this even happen? So I don't even know.
No, you could tell they were making it up as they went along, which is not efficient storytelling.
Nope. That's how we got Pirates of the Caribbean 3.
Sure.
Do you think they did like one of those little oh my god, I don't even know what they're called, but like where like you have the numbers on like the paper, and then it's like you pick the number or you pick the color and you spell the letter, and then you pick the number and then you open the inside of the flap, and it's kind of like,
And you find out who you're going to marry.
yeah, that, like when you find out who you're gonna marry.
There's a
That's
whole
what I was
South Park
doing in the
episode
90s.
devoted to that little origami piece of.
Yeah, I don't
That's
know
a
what
good
it's
one.
called, but it's almost like I wonder if that's the technique that they use maybe when they're creating the episodes. Like, we'll do this storyline with this. I don't know.
It's like a choose your own adventure.
Yeah,
Yeah, why not?
there you go.
Oh, who the hell put purgatory in here? That must have been.
All right, everybody
interns.
throwing a noun, a verb, and a place, and there we go.
Yeah, it's an
Oh,
ad lib.
they were playing
it's an
Mad
ad
Libs.
Yeah.
That's what they were doing.
Season 1, they're stuck in a bunker. Season 2, they're stuck on with the others. Season 4 is a flashback. Season 6, purgatory. Well done. It writes itself. Speaking of writing itself, for our fortnightly discussion topic, there are a lot of good shows based on comic books. The Flash, Arrow, Walking Dead, Not Gotham, Sons of Anarchy. Well, no, Sons of Anarchy is now a comic, so that doesn't count. But are there any comic books that you, the Wolfpack, would like to see adapted for television? Specifically for television.
Yes.
Good answer.
Next question.
Well, I mean, you got to follow up with, what would you like to see come to the small screen?
Oh, okay. Well, have I talked to you guys about my obsession with
Is that how you
everything?
answer a lot of like essay questions in college? Explain this in an essay. Yes.
Yes. That's what
A+.
my students would like to think sometimes. But
That was
it's
my
okay.
whole thesis. Yes.
Yeah. Anywho. Let's see. Have I talked to you guys about my obsession with everything that Scott Snyder writes?
Not that I recall.
I've seen it in the
I think
chat.
I've heard this.
Okay. Anywho, Scott Snyder is currently writing Batman. So he's currently writing the only good book in DC. As some would argue. As I would argue. But he's got a couple of like one-off books that have come out in the last couple of years. Really sort of tapping into his tendency to write horror. And he writes horror really, really, really well, which is why he's so freaking good at writing the Joker. I would love to see The Wake done. And I mean, both of these have to be on like HBO or Showtime or something like that, because they have to be bloody. They have to be scary.
I thought you were going to go American Vampire.
That was my third. But yes, American Vampire would be freaking awesome. The Wake, because he proved that mermaids can be terrifying.
They could be mermen.
And yeah, mermen, whatever. Yeah, whatever sexless blue things that they were. But yeah, that was really, really, really cool. And then I'm in the middle of Witches right now, which is so good. But then again, I mean, I'm just coming to expect that from him. And it's cool because I mean he's collaborating with Jock, again, who he worked with on Batman: The Black Mirror. So it's a really good, really creepy book, and I would like to see something that well written and well thought out kind of on the small screen, given some time.
Well, that's something that they haven't really tapped into a lot, is like the pure horror genre. I mean, there's American Horror Story, but what else is there that's like kind of the pure horror tale on television right now?
It could have been there with Constantine, but it wasn't.
Is Bates Motel considered a horror show? Or I haven't watched it, but I guess it has elements, but maybe it's not a full on.
They haven't even got there yet. That's the problem. It's getting bogged down with all the like world building stuff, and then it just kind of tangents into other things and other characters that we don't care about.
Gotcha.
I don't care about. Norman. Anybody who watches Bates would know that. Anyway. So, was there a second pick? Or I guess Witches is your second pick, and then American
Witches would be the second pick.
Good picks. Good pick.
Thank you.
Anybody else have one on the tip of their tongue?
I would like to see Fade Out as a show or even a movie. I think that would be
like a nice time period noir.
Yeah. It's got everything. It's got scandal. It's got loose men and loose women, and war,
fast talking,
war
high
stories.
trousers.
Smoking cigarettes indoors because it's cool with a glass of whiskey. Stuff like that
at work.
Yeah, and also too, I haven't read it, but Birthright from Image, I believe. I think would be an interesting topic for television.
It's funny, speaking of Image, I've only read the first issue, but I would love to see Rat Queens for the TV.
Why does that one stick out for you?
Because one of the characters is like a little elf who eats shrooms and she trips really hard. There's like a hipster dwarf that she had a beard, but she like shaved it off.
So it's like if Dobby the house dwarf ever tripped balls.
Well, that's what she would look like, but it's just so I don't know. It's like
Master Harry Potter's got mushrooms in LSD.
It's like
I can hear colors.
The way that it's described, it's like Lord of the Rings meets Bridesmaids. So, yeah. I mean, again, I've only read the first issue, but they're just really funny. I mean, it's vulgar and all that good stuff. But I like a lot of stuff that Image puts out, but that's definitely one of them that would be really, really funny to see on TV.
Yeah.
Maybe more so like an HBO or Showtime, because I feel like TV would be like a tamed down version of it, and I feel like they kind of push it.
Word.
I had two, and I can't remember the second one. Well, the first one...
I got another.
The first one that I was going to say is another Image book, ironically. It's called Revival by Tim Seeley. Long story short is that something happens in a small town in which the dead come back to life, and they don't know why. Part of the mystery is one of the people figuring out who killed them. But then it's just kind of like... what did we compare it to? It's kind of like Under the Dome plus... crap, I can't remember. It's like Under the Dome because this phenomenon is like restricted to this tiny little town, and how the rest of the world kind of reacts to people coming back to life. That would be fun, just because I think it'd be an interesting premise. Keith, go with your other one. I can't remember the other one.
Yet another Image book that I think I seem to recall hearing somewhere that was actually in the midst of being produced for television, but Letter 44, if you guys have heard of that one.
Charles Soule. Charles Soule.
Yeah. And that follows, I'm reading the Amazon description right now, just for brevity's sake. On Inauguration Day, newly elected President Stephen Blades hoped to tackle the most critical issues facing the nation, war, economy, healthcare. But in a letter penned by the outgoing president, he learns the truth that redefines critical. 7 years ago, NASA discovered an alien presence in the asteroid belt and kept it a secret from the world.
And then
it's awesome.
And then they attack his video game characters.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Oh, that's been done? Oh, my bad.
Wait, what?
Huh?
I was making fun of pixels.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, I derped for a second.
Your idea sounds good. Pixels Pixels does not sound good.
Yeah, no, Pixels does not sound good. Letter 44, however, is very good and should be made into a very cool television show.
I'm really bothered. I can't think of my other suggestion. But you know what I would do? I would retool Gotham so that it's like 10 years later. So that all this crap's going on in Gotham, but at the same time, Bruce Wayne is training with Ra's al Ghul.
So then it's like an actual lead into the movies? Kind of?
Maybe, but then the other thing is then you could have all the bad guys actually in the show. So you could have... You know, the Riddler does something and the GCPD goes and takes care of it because it's not, you know, a super big deal that Batman has to be there. As in, if you guys have read Gotham Central, I would want Gotham Central, the TV show, not the crap that happens before all that. It's essentially like the stuff that Batman, you know, can't be bothered with, and then how the cops deal with superpowered villains.
That sounds awesome.
It is an awesome book.
Has
Ed Brubaker and Greg Rucka. So
has Gotham been renewed for a second season?
Unfortunately, yes.
I'm sorry.
Well, you've gone this far.
Right?
Gone this far. F.
Okay.
I'm really bothered. I can't think of that second one. It was a good one too. Oh,
Was
well.
it like another Image one or?
I don't remember.
If Gotham brings back the kid that's supposedly the Joker, that'll help. Because that kid was good.
Is he the Joker? Oh, I don't know.
Well, that's why I said supposedly. He laughs and he kind of, you know, he's got the
That
Joker
show.
smile. But maybe they're just leading us on.
Anyway. I still can't. I'm going to think about it. I'm going to think of it in like 20 minutes. That's the stupid
Saga
thing.
would be another good one.
Ooh.
But I don't.
Yeah.
But I mean, I almost feel like Saga's worth of like a movie of how good that comic is.
Well, think about the backdrop too. Like Guardians was so awesome because just being in space is awesome. Like you could put a lot of production into Saga and have it be, you know, look pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. The Chew would probably be a good one. But then again, I mean, if he's got
You're right. That would be good.
But if he's got to eat, like...
But that's kind of like Guy Zombie, I guess.
But maybe, like,
Sorta.
it's maybe more grittier. They could make it... Because, I mean, he's a cop. Or he's an ex-cop because he gets recruited by someone else. It's just interesting how, like, eating parts of people... And like not the brain, because in iZombie, isn't it that she eats the brain and then she knows what's going on? Yeah, at least in the Chew, it's like a body, a piece of the body. It doesn't necessarily have to be the brain. So I think that
Not
makes
beats, but not beats.
Not beats. Yeah. Oh, he hates
I remember
beets.
now. Oh, I remember. Okay, the other one I would like to see is. I also saw that apparently Agent Carter is not a shoo-in to get renewed, which I thought was kind of weird. But what I would like to see is if they do like a S.H.I.E.L.D. show that carries on with Agent Carter, but it kind of moves forward a decade every season. Mm-hmm. So it's like the next, like they'll do S.H.I.E.L.D. in like the 50s and then the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, and they can kind of, sprinkle in some miscellaneous Marvel stuff. Granted,
would
they
hope
couldn't
that
use that
Agent
in
Carter
the
comes
movies. I know. I don't know why.
I mean, that was surprisingly good. Like, that was really, really good.
It's Mad Men and S.H.I.E.L.D. Like,
But with a lady.
you can't fail. With a lady. Ooh, it's a lady.
I was just
It's
gonna
your
say
ass.
that.
What? You were
I
just
was just gonna say, ooh, it's a lady. Beat me to it.
Ooh, it's a lady.
Yeah.
That was my other idea. Glad I thought of it. It would have bothered me. But we've covered a lot of ground, shared a few laughs along the way, but it's been enough fodder for us to wrap up Buddha Tubes episode 4. So we've reached that point where everybody starts riffing with all of their social networks. Anna, go.
Twitter.
A for Anna.
@Febzilla. Follow me. I tweet a lot of random stuff, and now that The Walking Dead isn't on the air, you don't have to deal with # The Walking Dead on Sundays.
Yeah, but random stuff's the best stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You follow entertainmentbuddha.com. Go to the site. All the links and all that good stuff is there. Yeah.
It's all there. Keith.
Twitter @KWMathias. Also, follow twitch.tv/entertainmentbuddha. Every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern, I am busting Buddha's backlog, playing old video games. Come keep me company.
That's a great idea. I love it. Hershey. Nick. Steve.
What's my Twitter? Oh, @NickHershey33. I can never remember if it's nhershey33 or NickHershey33. It's @NickHershey33 on Twitter. Entertainment Buddha also has Instagram. It's just Entertainment Buddha, so check it out there. And like Anna said, all that stuff's on the website as well.
I went to Nick Hershey 33 and you weren't there.
My current avatar picture is from Woody Harrelson in Zombieland, where he's in the cage and he's shooting like the gun with the guns behind his head. Anybody?
Yeah, but what if Nick Hershey 33 has that too?
No, I
You're
am
sunk.
Nick Hershey 33.
Oh, and her whatever, the other one.
I'm just
The
trying
one that's not
to
you.
keep it different so people, recognize.
All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Nick Hershey 33.
Yeah.
Do it.
If you've been following N
Lock it
Hershey
in.
33, I apologize. I don't know what they're saying.
Do you
wonder who
follow
that
N Hershey
is.
33?
N Hershey 33's tweets are of their own opinion and does not reflect Nick Hershey 33's.
Way to distance yourself.
Justin, are you on Twitter?
Yeah, I am, but like everyone else said, all the important things are at entertainmentbuddha.com, twitch.tv/entertainmentbuddha. Those are the things you need to know. Those are the avenues that have everything. We have things for movies, video games, comics, TV show, reviews, previews, pictures, everything. Because as we say, our mission statement is to make you a better geek, one post at a time.
Oh,
And that's all you need to know.
and before we sign off, don't forget, Daredevil is coming to Netflix. What, tomorrow? Next week?
Is that the 10th?
Next week? I don't know, but it's soon. So get ready for more Marvel stuff coming your
Power
way.
binge.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't believe we forgot to mention that one.
We didn't forget, we did it now.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
April 10th, Friday, next Friday.
Next Friday. Okay.
Yeah.
Next Friday.
That's like the after the credits thing where it's like, oh, we'll stay for the end of the credits. Oh, yeah, Daredevil! That's it. Turn the channel.
That's it.